What's going on, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the upcoming self-titled, self-released new album from the band Cryptopsy, which is scheduled to be released on September the 11th, 2012. Now, if you're a fan of death metal, or preferably death metal from Canada, Cryptopsy need absolutely no introduction. But for those of you who aren't familiar with them, they are based out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and this is one of those Canadian metal bands that really helped pave a way for many others to follow, not only in the style of music that they do, but also in the presence, the lyrics, everything. This is a band that really paved a way for others to follow, preferably with their first two records, Blasphemy Made Flesh and None So Vile. Those albums are just the stuff of legend, just the great use of high screams, the vocals, the guttural lows of Lord Worm, the great guitar work, very technical, blistering guitar work, very fast and chaotic drumming, just a lot of great, memorable music. I mean, hell, even None So Vile earned a spot in the Decibel Magazine Hall of Fame. That's how influential that album is to a lot of people. And of course, they've made some other great albums. I really liked Whisper Supremacy. I thought And Then You'll Beg was pretty good, and the same for Once Was Not. Of course, Once Was Not was sort of their return of sorts, because after And Then You'll Beg, Lord Worm had left the band to become a teacher, if I'm not mistaken, get involved in getting better educated, I guess. But then after Once Was Not, he left the group. That's when they brought in a new singer by the name of Matt. I can't say his last name. I probably won't say his last name, so I'll just say Matt, the new vocalist. They brought a new vocalist, a little bit of a revamped lineup, and then in 2008, we got the album known as The Unspoken King. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I really don't like to talk about music that I'm not fond of, or music that just doesn't interest me. The Unspoken King, I thought, was a huge disappointment. I didn't hate it, and I didn't think it was a big pile of shit like I know a lot of other people felt that it was. I thought that the album was not the true representation of what Cryptopsy was. I appreciate the fact that they wanted to take a different direction in their sound, but this was not Cryptopsy. The music that was displayed on the album was not Cryptopsy. I mean, you had good songs like Anoint the Dead and Worship Your Demons. Those were great songs, but it wasn't like that throughout the rest of the album, and it really was disappointing. Very disappointing to me. Of course, that's just how I feel about it. If you feel differently, then fine. But enough about the past. Let's move on to now. Let's get on to their brand new album. It's self-titled, self-released. They're doing it themselves. A couple of additions. They brought back John, one of the founding guitar players from this band. They have him back to play guitar, and they have a new bass player in Olivier, who plays in another really great Canadian metal band, Neuraxis, to do the bass work. It's 8 tracks, and it runs about 35 minutes in length. And coming into this album, I honestly did not know what to expect. Was this going to be the same direction that they were taking on the previous record, or did they decide to make a return to their roots of sorts? Did they return to the Cryptopsy sound that many people remembered? And I'll put it to you like this. This, to me, is the absolute quintessential meaning of redemption. This album is such a redeeming factor. This is far and away better than The Unspoken King ever was. And this is a return to glory in my view. This will please a lot of people, but I honestly think that this will not please a lot of the die-hard Cryptopsy fans who have always loved everything in the classic form and not the way it is. But this album is surely going to get people talking. Guitar-wise, it's your usual kind of Cryptopsy guitar. It basically plays up from where the last album left off, but things seem a lot more fluid, a lot more faster, a lot more technical, and to be quite honest, a lot more jazzy. I mean, take the track Red Skin Scapegoat. It's a death metal song that's basically based around a jazz, almost a jazz fusion kind of feeling, because once you get past those heavy destructive riffs, a lot of great solid melodies, you get into this more relaxed kind of jazz theme. And that's the twist that you don't see coming. It's crazy. It's going to leave you confused. But then after a while, you're going to enjoy it a lot more. And that's just so refreshing. Not to mention the solo work on here is a lot more concise and a lot more clear this time around. I absolutely love the gamesmanship with the guitar going on here. Great leads, great solos, just nicely done overall. Bass-wise, it is such a dominant force on this record. It's just so well mixed. I love the way that it sounds, just that grungy, dingy kind of feeling. You can hear it just grit and grind its way through. It's very well placed with the guitars, especially on the song Ominous. You hear the bass utilized extremely well with that song. It's just fantastic. Really solid bass work overall. Drums, Flo is a great drummer. Flo is really one of the main people to keep this Cryptopsy machine going, and really he just shows you the kind of skill that he does with his drumming here. You're going to get a lot of really rapid fire kind of blast beats, really solid double bass work, great fills and rolls, just the way the snare and the kick is mic'd, just the way that the toms are mic'd. It's just a really solid, fast and blistering drum performance throughout. And going back to the song Redskin Scapegoat, there's the part where it ventures off into jazzier territories. That's a great drum performance on that track too. Just very relaxed and patient, just getting that jazzy part out of the way before moving on to the more crushing death metal stuff. Just a great solid drum performance overall. And now we get to the part of the album that I think is going to get people talking. Either people will love it or people will hate it. And that is the vocals. Matt is not Lord Worm. He's not Lord Worm, and I don't think he's trying to be Lord Worm. Lord Worm is just a different vocalist in his own right. And the work that he did on the previous albums up to The Unspoken King were Lord Worm's works. This is a new era for the band. And this is the vocalist that they choose to stick with. And I can safely say that this time around, it's a lot better. There's no singing this time around. It's just straight up guttural vocals. The guttural vocals remind me a lot of Sven from Aborted. Just that really low, almost high mixture of gutturals. It's not like a pig squeal or anything like that. It's just a very high-pitched sounding guttural sound. And that's the kind of sound that you're going to hear with his low gutturals. They're done very well. I would have honestly liked to have heard more variations on highs, because I think Matt has a really good high scream. He's got a great high scream, reminiscent of the song Open Face Surgery from Blasphemy Made Flesh. Just a great high scream. I would have liked to have heard more of that. But really, that's just one of my many few complaints. I would have liked for there to have been more high vocals. And the track Damn Draft Dodgers, there's this weird little moment in the song, about halfway towards the song. You get through the death metal, and then all of a sudden you hear this, I want to say it sounds like elevator music. As weird as that sounds, just that little break in between the song, it sounds like you're in an elevator. And then once you hear the cymbal get tapped, it heads straight back up into the death metal. That's crazy. There are a lot of twists and turns that you won't see coming with this record. And whether you like it or not is totally up to you. Like I said, this is going to be an album that is either going to get loved or hated. It's going to get loved by people who are fans of Cryptopsy, or it's going to be hated by people who were so horrified by The Unspoken King they do not want to give it a shot. All I'll say is this. When you get to hear this new Cryptopsy record, give it at least a shot. Give it a try. And if it is not anything you were hoping it was, you don't have to listen to Cryptopsy anymore. I can completely understand why you don't like it. But for me, I think this is redemption. This is a redemption record, and to me, Cryptopsy are back. Cryptopsy are back, and they are ready to kick ass and take some names again. Let's just hope this is the direction they continue to stick with, and hopefully more great things will come. So this is a really great record, and I enjoyed it a lot. Aside from the issues that I had with it, I think it's a solid record, so give it a shot when it comes out. If I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would have to say 2 Pound Torch, Redskin Scapegoat for that great jazz break in between the song, Amputated Enigma, and Ominous. Those are some of my favorite songs. So again, the album is Cryptopsy, self-titled. It's self-released, and it will be available on September the 11th. Check it out if you want. And as far as the scores is concerned, for the time being, I'm going to give it a strong 8 out of 10. This is a very solid record. It's probably one of their best in a while. I'm not saying it's their absolute best, but this is a lot better than what they've been putting out lately. So, welcome back, guys. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.